So I thought it'd be fun to do a little sketch tour. This is specifically what I call my junk sketchbook. It's a cheap sketchbook with cheap paper, so it's kind of my place to go to just scribble. Thought it'd be fun to flip through it. I started this sketchbook all the way back in 2020, and it took me 4 years to fill it. When I first started out, I was very much in an art block, kind of feeling stagnant with my art. These sketches were all the way back from 2020. There's also a lot of three houses you will see right off the bat, because this was like the peak of my three houses obsession, especially with Edelgard and Claude. More ballpoint pen. I find that when I'm feeling art blocked or frustrated with my art, it's quite cathartic to sketch in ballpoint because it flows really well and you have to be more deliberate with your lines. You don't have the opportunity to overthink quite as much. Some silly comics and things. Comic I gave up on. This I ended up digitalizing and turning into a more finished illustration. Some planning for Edelclad Week. I think this was for Edelclad Week 2021, if I remember right. Some very scribbly figure studies. Once again, I remember being pretty frustrated with my art at this point. So I was trying to kind of loosen up, get in some figure studies. Not trying to make it look nice or anything, as you can tell with me overlapping them. I was just trying to loosen up my wrist and kind of practice figures again. This is a comic based on one of my favorite fics. I'll try to put up a link for it. I think this was around the time that Dread came out, so it was on my mind. Some little Claude kid designs, because the brain rot was running deep. This is when I discovered Dimitri and Sylvain as a ship, and so there's suddenly a huge influx in them from here on out. Yeah, this is also the time around when Three Hopes came out, so start to see some Three Hopes stuff. This was this big elaborate AU that my friend and I were putting together. Some random Ocarina of Time sketches. Some attempts at anatomy studies, and then giving up. Like I said, this is very much just a space for scribbling. This I turned into a TikTok. Oh yeah, I had these big plans to make this whole animatic that never happened. And then more planning for Edelclad Week. That must have been 2022. And then this was a point where I felt like there was a shift in my art, like something clicked. I felt like I was finding my style a little better. More AU stuff. Every time I get really obsessed with any form of media, I get really involved in like crafting elaborate AUs. It's kind of a problem. These are sketches from really good Edelclad fic, and then this one in particular was a sketch from a fic that was written for me, which I lost my mind over. I also really enjoy doing figure sketches in ballpoint pen. So once again, the ink flow is just really nice. Some AU redesigns of Dimitri and Sylvain. I was drawing them so much at this time. And random Shez. 2 random Shezes. I love drawing her in cute little outfits. These are more sketches from that second fic I mentioned. This was from a really good Sylvain and Dimitri fic. I'll try to find it, but it was forever ago. Another separate AU that I got very wrapped up in. I'm still quite fond of these Fierce Deity sketches. Another comic I gave up on. Christmas Dorothea. Modern AU, Sylvain and Dimitri. Oh, this was me kind of trying to design a special class for Edelgard because I don't understand why she has a hidden talent and reason, but then it ends up being completely useless. I was like, oh, what if there was a heavy armor dark magic class, which I don't think would actually work, but I can dream. And this is when I discovered Trigun. And it's all Trigun from here on out. We're not even halfway through the sketchbook. This part of the sketchbook took me 3 years to complete. And then this latter part only took me 1 year. Everyone say thank you, Trigun, for saving me from art block. This I sketched after reading volume 10 of Trimax. and my life is ruined. Another thing I do a lot when I get really into media, I give them stupid redesigns and do crossovers and AUs. This was like a big ballpoint pen phase because it's just nice. Like if you're ever art blocked or struggling with sketching, just break out a ballpoint pen. Panel redraws. This is when I was gifted an alcohol marker set, so I was trying to kind of figure those out. I don't know why Knives is so hard to draw. It doesn't matter what iteration, he's always hard to draw. I was trying to figure out how I like to draw Wolfwood at this point. You'll never guess, an AU. This was my cringe fairy AU that I got really invested in. One of my markers, I think it's one of my alcohol markers, makes the pages yellow. So if it looks kind of piss colored, you can blame the marker. Kind of playing around with ink. This I ended up digitalizing and turning into a comic, but it was done traditionally first. Tears of the Kingdom sketches. Little beach day sketch, ignoring the fact that there is no water on no man's land. At least not enough to swim in. Random Edelgards. Every once in a while, Three Houses pops back in just for a little cameo. Villtura, my favorite gung-ho gun, not biased. I'm still really fond of this Eric's sketch. I don't know that I ever posted it. I really like this tiny little Vash right here. It's just a little scribble, but I had a lot of fun with it. These were some of the early concept designs that Studio Orange released. More Tears of the Kingdom. I think this was shortly after I beat the game. Olivia Raslow. My other favorite gung-ho guns. And then some Wolfwood. My other favorite gung-ho gun. I really like all the characters in Trigun, if that's not obvious. Some like secret agent AU sketches. Oh, I ended up scanning this and posting it online. I actually did it with two different kinds of markers. This was with like this really cheap water-based marker, and then this is Prismacolor marker. Inksty Vash, because you have to take out all your feelings on Vash. That's what he deserves. I was getting really into markers at this point. I think it must have been Bunny Day or whatever. I can't entirely remember. And more Secret Agent AU. It was like kind of 40s, World War II. It was just an excuse to draw them in cute outfits. I'm still pretty fond of this little sketch. I need to draw Millie more. I already draw her quite a bit, but I need to draw her more. This is when I began my collection of Tombow markers, and I'm still obsessed with them. They're so much fun to sketch with. They're kind of streaky, but it's fun to use that texture to your advantage. Some figure studies of what I thought Wolfwood's body type would look like. These are some of my favorite sketches. I just really like the texture and the atmosphere on them. Same with this page. This is one of my favorite pages. The only problem with cheap paper, it does bleed really bad with alcohol markers. Long-haired Knives. He's absurdly fun to draw with long hair. I'm really fond of these sketches too. Random Edelgard and Claude. These were for some sketch requests I was doing on my Instagram story a while back. I especially had fun with this Edelgard and Vash's outfit. I don't draw Samus enough anymore. I need to fix that. I had a lot of fun with this sketch. Although Annette bled onto the other side, so I had to try to kind of work around that. Skyward Sword. And a random Yor. I kind of forgot about that sketch. This was the turn of the new year, so the rest from here on out is from this year. Random Dorothea and Edelgard. I don't know why I remember specifically I was watching But I'm a Cheerleader for the first time while sketching all these like facial expression practice. Character design. I actually ended up kind of redoing the sketch on the other side with the bleed through, and I actually like this side more. Oh, this is one of my favorite pages. I don't think I've ever shared it online. It's a stupid sketch and I love it. My favorite combo, I have these two Tombow markers and I really like them together. These two and times these two. Some character design exploration, well, some world building for this personal project I've been working on for a while. More Wolfwood Angst. Never finding the character designs here. This is one of my favorite sketches. I feel like one of the biggest things that improved in the sketchbook was my ability to draw facial expressions, so it's kind of fun to see the development. Another beach episode and some Samuses. I really like the sketches on this page. The Fairy AU returns. This was the first time I ever sketched Chronica and Domina, which I feel like is a crime. I need to sketch them more because I really like them. There are just so many incredible characters from Trigun. I forget to draw them all. More of that secret agent AU. I love their outfits in the end of Trimax so much. There needs to be more art of it. Livio and Raslo. Oh, and then Vampire AU. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner, frankly. This was my final sketch in the entire sketchbook. I feel like at this point, it took this long until I felt like I could kind of draw Knives, but he's still so hard to draw. I don't know why. He should look exactly like Bash. He does look exactly like Bash, but he's so much harder to draw. I can't explain it. It's probably the hair. But yeah, that's the end of the sketchbook. Took me 4 years to fill, but it's kind of just my mess sketchbook. But I had a lot of fun with it. I definitely highly recommend going out and just getting a cheap, big sketchbook like this and just draw. It doesn't have to look good. Just draw. Just have fun.